Let's get back to reality.
No.
Or some sort of reality.
The better timeline, the brighter one.
Yeah. Well, three of you are leaving. But before I get to that, I want to know, Dowser, what are you doing in the sanctuary while they're gone? What is the objective here?
Well, I want to... First of all, I want to go down in the crypt. Not to do anything, just to see what it looks like. Because all the information I have from it is what the Guardian has said and what Dahlia has told us. Because nobody else has gone down there yet.
Dahlia is a perfectly reliable source of information.
And I just want to look at it. I don't want to touch anything. And we aren't allowed to speak down there, so I will not even attempt that. And that I wish to just walk around the house itself and see if I can find anything that might give me any sort of sign of how this was built, when this was built, why.
Yep. I'll keep that in mind and get back to you. The rest of you get outside. Fucking cold. I don't think any one of you had any bestial interactions, so you're still blushed if you did that.
Does that mean you're not blushed, Henry?
It makes no difference.
It does with the cold. Do you want to walk or take a cab, or how are you getting to North Lakeview?
I feel like there's no reason to walk in the freezing temperatures if we can just get a cab. But
there are plenty about. People are out in town drinking, partying, that sort of thing. Most people are indoor, but
I do like walking. I like listening to the sounds of the town and whatnot, and exploring.
As Julian is saying that, like right in the middle of like his soft way of just, explaining what, he likes to take in the whole stuff, Dahlia is just going to do the whole New York, like fingers in her eyes, the shrill whistle, just ear piercing. I can't do it, but she is just going to do the straight up ear piercing shrill whistle right next to Julian.
A little bit of blood comes out of Julian's ear.
I think you do it, nothing really happens. And then a guy, he's just looking at his phone, comes walking down the street and says, "That doesn't work here, lady." And he kind of, so you can see on his phone, there's this app and you can like call a cab on. I'll do it for you. And he kind of pushes the phone a bit.
Thank you very much.
And
aren't you a sweetheart? Yeah.
It'll arrive in 7 minutes, it says.
I'm sorry, do you have a name? I'd just like to thank you.
Carl.
Thank you, Carl. You are, bless your heart. Yeah,
You're very welcome. Have a good night.
We should probably get ourselves one of those. I just want to clarify, I mean the phone, because I see where your mind is going.
I immediately thought Carl's gonna go in a cage. He's one of the cages.
That's exactly where her mind's just like, you know what? That's a great idea. Everybody needs a Carl.
No good deed goes unpunished in Dusktown.
Right. Could you just hold this for me a second, please, Dahlia?
What am I holding?
It's just a very small triangular piece of glass. It looks like it's been sort of, the edges have been smoothed over time. Could you just hold that for me a second?
Oh, okay.
Okay, no, that's fine. Thank you. Just wanted to be sure.
Hands it back.
No, thank you.
You're very strange, Henry.
Oh no, I just needed to be sure because the fact you seemed quite keen to cage people, and your mind immediately went to, yes, we need to get one of those people with free will and take it away.
I think he would be very helpful, don't you?
I'm sure he would be helpful, and if you employed him and gave him money, and he was doing this for his own free will.
You make quite a lot of assumptions about me. You know that.
I'm just concerned. I would much rather go and do the legwork for you than for things.
Carl was very helpful. He saw us in our time of need and he came right up and helped us. I think he'd be perfect.
I'm sure he'd be perfect, but I think it would be Carl's choice.
Of course, it'd be his choice. What are you implying? I don't.
I'm not implying anything. I was just getting a little bit concerned because you seem to be a good egg, and there are lots of bad eggs out there. Hence,
That's exactly
class.
right. Okay.
Now I have to
Henry,
write.
I just thought it sounded for a moment there like you were implying that I was some kind of.
No. I wasn't implying anything. I was stating quite clearly I was really worried. But
what was with the glass triangle thing?
it just helps me to see people. And
At this point, you see Julian walk over with a handkerchief that has little bits of drops of blood on it. He's like putting it in his ear. What were you two talking about? I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch any of that.
Oh, it's no big deal. We were just working out a misunderstanding.
we could probably do with either employing someone that knows a little bit more about what needs to happen, or I need to pick up a few more skills. And
We're just getting used to the ways of getting around Dusktown. That's all, and we haven't done that in years, and things change so often, and yeah. So I was just not up on the way that the kids do things these days.
We could hire somebody. I'm sure we have some funds lying around that we could hire somebody. Maybe we can go to the Baron or
I was just
Margaret.
explaining to Henry how certain people in this town seem very helpful, and we could employ them. Yes.
Yes, yeah, we could probably get people with good references from the local kindred.
We're all in agreement, of course.
Can everyone do a wits and awareness?
It's
I don't think Henry wants to, in case he puts two and two together.
May I add?
Yes.
Is there auspex? Yeah, so we're adding auspex. Okay.
Only hide and senses.
Oh, no unseen auspex. I
I'm
see
very
how
glad
it
that
is.
Henry
Fine.
is suitably slow.
This is not the incorporeal sort of awareness.
Well, they are there.
That's not a bad number of successes on Dahlia's part. That's 3. It's not the hypersonic multi-sensory radar that Julian is working with.
Well, Dahlia, you notice that cat again, sitting kind of half hidden down the wall, staring at you guys. Julian, you're being watched by rats, bats, a raven, a cat, and something humming with electricity.
He's like kind of like turning his head.
Or like not
And it'll make-
electricity, but like zzz, like a rotor.
There's a small machine watching us. And a whole
We're being watched.
Zoo.
I see that. Oh, look at that little cat over there. She's just gonna be like, oh, so adorable. I've seen that before. Or
Well,
at least
far
I'm
more
very
than-
like it.
far more than just the cat. There's a whole assortment.
What do you mean, Julian?
There's a raven
A raven.
or some sort of bird.
Ooh.
And
There's
That's good luck.
rats over the, and he kind of like points in a general direction, but he doesn't know exactly. It's like rats, things that scurry. There's some sort of machine watching us.
you're saying that we're being followed by animals in a machine.
It's like a small machine. I don't know the nature of it, but it hums like a small automobile.
Henry, I know these two are archaic. Do you have anything in that technology?
Of course I don't.
Fair enough.
Is it possible, okay, that Dahlia would be able to make a reference to Da Vinci's ornithopter, for example? No, okay.
Henry's been out of it for about 20 years, so there were. I don't think drones were that big a thing back then.
No.
The taxi arrives. It's a 7-seater taxi, quite large. Plenty of room.
Henry will open the door and offer Dahlia in and then help Julian, but he's going to sit in the front. He's a people person.
Such a gentleman.
Before Julian gets in the car, whatever direction the little machine is, he'll just do like a little wave like this.
Yeah, it's up,
And it
funnily enough, and hovering.
goes up like that up there, and then we'll get in the car.
Henry, as you get in, the taxi driver, he makes a little jump, like you give him a shock, and then he where to?
I know we're going to North Lakeview, but do we have Agnes's address? We'd like to go and see Agnes if that's possible.
I don't know.
Dahlia will give him the general name of the building that she's in, the place that she's located.
We're not quite sure, but you assume a graveyard.
Yeah.
Yes. Take
North
us to the
Lakeview
graveyard, please.
Cemetery. Yeah. You know where that is, right? The cemetery in North Lakeview, right?
Going to Dusktown Cemetery in the middle of the night. Okay, fair enough. And he drives off.
It's for academic purposes.
Of course it is.
You can come with us if you'd like.
I'm perfectly good in my car. I'll wait if you pay me, but...
Oh,
Is
of
this
course.
what you do for a living?
Yes, I'm a cab driver.
Yeah, so you're a taxi cab driver, coach driver, as it were. Yeah.
This is his electric carriage.
Indeed.
Do you
Look
own-
at this, Henry. Do you see this? This is just fascinating.
I'm really sorry.
Are you guys lappers or...
I think right. So, do you own the car yourself? Is it owner operator or?
Oh, it's my car. I just used the app. It was hired by Carl. I want to use.
No, we're quite keen to sort of keep someone on retainer, because we travel a lot. We're kind of newish. If you see, they're probably
This whole place is just so brand new to us, and we're just finding our way around.
Would you like to make a load of cash? Because apps aren't really our thing, and we'd much rather just call someone and say we'd like to be picked up. Here's a lot of money to take us places.
Sure, whatever you want. To the rest of you, he seems terrified of Henry.
He doesn't always look like this. It was just we're working on his appearance. I'm so sorry. He's really not.
No, I'm
for
sorry, I didn't mean any offense. He hands you a card, Henry.
He's very polite, as you can see. He's actually quite congenial.
We tend to probably need lifts more during the night than any. And so, are you normally around for calls? And if we give you even more money?
Yes. Now the ST is making another character. This is Jack.
Remember, everyone, ask anyone we bump into. You, what's your name?
For fuck's sakes.
Jack, right.
You
Brilliant.
get the number to Jack.
Is it okay if we just give you money? I can find out where you live, and then I can take money.
No, it's yeah, cash is fine.
Henry,
I
stop.
also take card or mobile pay.
You're not the only one that does this, right?
No, it's the thing. I'm not the only.
I like Jack.
Yes.
I think we can get to know each other.
I think so too.
Could
in
you
our
hold
own
this
way.
piece of glass?
Jack, you're a darling.
Not while I'm driving. I have to focus, and he doesn't take the glass.
Henry's just going to hold up this small piece of glass and just look at him through it for the rest of the journey.
Are you gonna do the ritual?
Very much so.
Do the roll. I just want to see if you crit.
No reason. You're gonna have to remind me because my brain is still shut. Ah, there we are. Oh, you've been really helpful.
I try to be.
But you haven't put down what the doobies are.
The which ones?
Well, his sin is gluttony.
Actually, I don't like him, Jack. I don't think we should.
His sin is what?
He does a ritual and he sees Jack's sin is gluttony.
Oh, okay.
He's going to toss the card back onto his lap and...
Well, you get to Dusktown Cemetery. Apparently, you need to drive outside the city, so Dahlia and Julian, you see the very tall wall. There are these huge checkpoints on the main roads. They're opened. It's not like people are stopped, but they can be shut, the gates, if necessary. And,
so describe these gates for us, because I find this fascinating.
Military, almost.
Oh, okay.
Modern.
So not like this kind of gate.
No, modern steel gates. The wall is ancient, or at least a couple of 100 years old, but the gates are new, and the watchtowers are also new, with red spotlights and everything. But it's
like a prison.
Yeah, almost.
Does Jack play any music on the radio? Is he a Swiftie?
It's whatever's on the radio in 2024. So Taylor Swift is probably played like, I don't know, 8 billion times in those 20 minutes.
Henry would turn off the radio.
Something classical. But yeah.
Jack can learn restraint.
You get to Dusktown Cemetery. First of all, driving through North Lakeview, the housing is quite dense. Small houses, mostly 2 stories, but kind of imagine those lanes of, I don't want to say typical, but I see a lot in Britain with small 2-story houses. They're not very wide, but tall in a sense. They're not connected to each other. They all have like wooded gardens around them, but the houses are quite small. The fog is very thick. And drive out of the area, get to a large cemetery area. It's fenced in. I want to say fenced in, but it's a knee-high fence. Small gate. Dahlia, if you want to, you can do a rouse check and I give you more information.
I'd love to. I was going to, but you anticipated that perfectly. So yeah.
Do you tell Jack to stay?
No.
All right. He drives off. I assume some of you have some kind of cash. Why not?
I just thought Henry was going to pay.
Yeah. And you left there. It's quite a large cemetery. Maybe it's the only one in town. Did you succeed your house?
Oh, I didn't realize. Hold on. There we go. Yep.
I won't speak to you then. Compared to the rest of the town, the shroud is basically non-existent here.
Beautiful.
Very thin. Good for ceremony. And if you were to turn on Sense the Unseen, there are hundreds and hundreds of wraiths here.
It's heaven. Yeah, it's just glorious. Talia's just looking around. She's got this big smile on her face, like a little girl at Disney World or whatever. She's like,
Julie looks sad.
Lovely place.
What a terrible place of sadness and suffering. Looking around,
like they couldn't be more different.
Dahlia, I fear that perhaps, what if the boundary that we've created, what if that's keeping them from moving on?
and she takes a moment to reply, as though she's just so enamored, like so caught up, in all of this wondrousness of this spiritual, menagerie here. And then after a hesitating moment, she turns her, oh yes, that would be awful. And she doesn't say anything more about it. She's like,
you walk in, there's what you expect to find in the graveyard. You kind of think it would look nice in the daytime because of all the nature around. It's eerily quiet. Not even an owl or like any other night creature around. As you're entering,
so beautiful.
Spirits are kind of just looks like they're forming a perimeter around you, almost like a barrier or a wall. They keep their distance, following as you move, but it seems like they're surrounding you.
Julian, you do realize that some of the spirits, if they were here, the wraiths, have probably done nothing wrong in their lives. But the angels, as they call them, have decided that they're not allowed, they're not worthy, make arbitrary choices, that good people who've lived good lives are now punished because of it. Just an example for when you want to deal with that angel again. Sorry.
You've given me quite a bit to think about, but I wonder how much of this is our doing. We can't escape, or things like us can't escape. Maybe they can't either. Who knows what fate is waiting them? What resting place? I don't know. But I hear what you are saying. Thank you.
Dahlia, they look drained. All of them. Like, even more transparent than you would. Like, they normally would be, yeah.
As though the same kind of ritual or power is in place here.
More like it's affecting them here too.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm talking more than 200 wraiths here surrounding you.
So she sees them, and she also feels how thin the veil is here and things like that. She can detect how drained that they are, and she's basically towards them. She wants it clear that she can't wait to get her hands on them. Like, that just she's got kind of a malicious smile on her face. Like she's enjoying this, and so yeah, she is considering all of them. She wants to get her hands on them and perform rituals here. This is an area that is like a ripe field, for a farmer. yeah.
Only someone steps out of the barrier or the wall of wraiths and speaks up. A man, he looks like someone from Julian's era, 18 something, or a worker's man, and says, "What is your purpose here, monsters?"
Oh, you didn't even introduce yourself to us, sir.
We're here to see Agnes.
It seems like every wraith is kind of looking at the wraith next to them and each other, and there's murmurs going around. And a woman appears in front of you, Dahlia. Her hair is kind of wavy. Her neck is like cracked to the side, like she's been hung or hanged. Whatever. And her face is kind of distorted. Lower jaw seems broken, but her voice is unaffected by it, and simply says a bit more docile or aggressive than the others. I will take you to the mistress.
Good girl.
And kind of, she floats almost like she's still hanging in the gallows. Same position with the feet dangling.
So while we are walking, I'd like to use my powers of oblivion to seek out potential fetters in this place. That's 3 successes.
Yep. My recollection, when you use it, you become kind of focused on that and unaware of other things. Yeah.
Right, exactly, yeah.
You do not find a feather, but you find traces to feathers. You assume mortals that have visited gravestones. Because you kind of see like something attached to the tombstone, like almost like a natural cord or whatever you want to call it, a silver line.
Yes.
Multiple of them, and they must have living descendants. You're led to the largest mausoleum deep within the graveyard. It's kind of surrounded by large trees, so you can't see it from the road. And the huge doors, double doors, open like a creak. Like you would be able to hear this far away. And Julian, you hear skittering on the other side. I assume someone brought a flashlight. Just say, as far as I remember, none of you can see in the dark.
Is Sense the Unseen not able to do that?
Not normal darkness. No.
Mhm.
Well,
I can sort of see.
you can sort of see with your heightened senses. Yes.
Yeah, what does Julian have need for a flashlight for?
It's always dark in my world.
It's just when like the fog and there's barely any moonlight, then going into the mausoleum is pitch black. So, if you want a flashlight on you, you have it.
Yeah, we'll have one. Yeah, she'll pull out one of those big thick flashlights with the double D batteries and everything in them.
Yeah. When you look back, the wall of wraith is still there, watching everything.
Love it.
It's a
This
stair
place is so great.
going down immediately in the mausoleum, like it was built after, maybe. There are these niches into the wall with skulls, the things you kind of expect. You also notice like skeletal hands that are moving on their own, climbing on the walls, and just kind of, well, I want to say watching, but they don't have eyes. They're following you guys, at least sensing you. You come down the circular stairs, and you're met with, well, a zombie standing in front of the door, kind of just swaying, not saying anything, but it is a corpse moving. And it opens the door for you. There's a bit more light in here, some candlelights. There's a horrid smell, Julian, like rotten corpses and decay.
Smell formaldehyde.
So your nose won't be turned on. The rest of you can smell it as well, but it's very strong if you have heightened senses. And you enter a circular room with kind of bookshelves, a stone slab where you can have corpses on. Just a second. Scat, could you look down?
I can't believe you said that in public.
Saying that on the internet is not okay, dude. Jesus.
Is he casting some sort of Nordic spell?
Is she okay?
What the hell was that?
I just asked her to close the door. Sorry.
Lightning bolt arcs through the atmosphere.
A circular room with like alchemy tables, shelves for books, a large stone slab, which is there's currently a corpse that's like half open on it. and you assume a lady from the figure. She's quite thin, wearing black robes that's been patched up a lot of times with other slightly black material just sewn into it. She's hunched over. She turns around. She's wearing a skull mask to cover her face. She has white hair, very pale, long fingers almost with these black, grimy nails. She does not look like she showers a lot or bothers to. And she, gestures out with her arms. Welcome! I've heard so much about you. Word travels fast, and my, little spirit has been watching you.
We see that, and obviously you know that I am
Miss Gray.
Dahlia. Yes, Miss Gray, yes. And this here is Henry and Julian.
Pleasure to meet you. And he's gonna put out his hand to shake her hand.
She walks towards you guys and she shakes your hand. It feels slimy, a bit like sandpaper, rough skin, leathery. Quite a bit of strength, actually. She does not feel as frail as she looks. I know you can't see, but you can feel how thin her hands are, and then there are barely any muscle on it. And she touches your face and says, "Oh, so handsome." And
thank you. I've been told.
she shakes Dahlia's and Henry's hands if you would like to as well. But
Agnes, a
Very
pleasure.
much
It really is.
Dahlia, a cousin, I believe.
Oh, yes, yes. Yes, you could call me that. Yes. I believe we are distantly related. Yes. It's such a pleasure being here. And it was suggested that we come to see you, and by certain other parties that we are affiliated with. And
Yes,
so we're
Kaya
here
told
now.
me.
Yes, yes. You and Kaya get along then.
She gives me fresh corpses.
Mm,
And I make
it's
sure that her torture continues beyond that.
It's a symbiotic relationship. Yeah. I can see that working out really well for both of you. I have to let you know that while I fully appreciate your work here, my companions, particularly Julian, is a little bit sensitive about these sorts of things and may not quite understand all of the intricacies of what we do. So you just be mindful, of certain details. He's got a big stomach. Yeah,
I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
A big fan of everything you're doing here.
Yeah.
She walks over and takes your arm, Julian, like almost hugging it, and
It's like
gently
ice,
rubbing your chest, and says, "Oh, I like a sensitive man."
Oh, yes. He is very sensitive. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm never one to tell people what to do, but I only try to encourage taking the more morally just action. I spoke with Kaya, and she took mercy upon one who had committed a terrible deed. She's very reasonable. I rather like her very much. Would you consider her a friend?
No.
Oh.
Acquaintance. We don't
Oh,
have
that works.
friends. We can be
Professional
friends, though.
acquaintance,
Maybe
yes.
more than friends.
I just want to say for the record, Julie doesn't know what this woman looks like, so he's just like, she just smells bad. He's just like, well, he's just kind of like, well, I don't know about more than, I don't know what you mean by that, but I'm certainly open to friendship. Friendship is always good, especially in dark times, and by the look of the canopy of wraiths outside, we certainly live in dark times indeed.
I can't see her smiling because of the mask, but she kind of giggles or cackles almost, and she looks at Dahlia and Henry with, you can see her eyes, at least the yellow eyes, and she says, "I have been blessed, a blind, pretty man."
Indeed.
I don't know what that means, but I take it as a good thing.
So, what can I do for you? She kind of steps back a bit from Julian, but she's very much looking at him up and down and giving him the elevator look.
Dahlia's going to look at Henry and then look back, kind of like a look recognition. We actually have a few things that we wanted to ask you. Some matters on which you might shed a little of your insights and knowledge.
Depends on the questions. I require favors or more, cumbersome information.
Naturally, I understand. We have heard rumors of a particular person of interest who has gone around perhaps providing corpses of the nature of which you and Kaya might be aware of. In the parlance of our time, this person would be called a serial killer. I was wondering if perhaps maybe you had among your company here, perhaps somebody who might be familiar with this individual, or a way to find someone like that. Yeah.
And in my army, but I can lead you to a place of one of their deaths.
That would be perfect. Yes, I think that would be extremely helpful. Mm-hmm.
The victims has not been brought to me because, police matter. So they're not in my possession.
Maybe we could expedite that process for you.
Well, I always want to add more to my army, but I'm more interested in higher ranking wraiths.
Naturally, yeah.
If you do me a favor, perhaps give me a little kiss, and she looks at Julian, I would be very helpful. In all
Darling,
units.
Agnes here is very fond of you and would like to share a moment of tender affection. Would you be willing to do that just to smooth things over here?
Of course I will, says Henry.
She holds up her hand towards Henry. Oh, you almost look like me, she said.
May I just ask, what did you mean by army?
Didn't you see? You can't see because she points upwards. The wraiths upstairs?
Are they under your control?
Yes.
I don't know. I believe I must admit I had a disagreement with the treatment of the wraiths. I think they should be left well enough alone.
Army is perhaps not the best term.
Oh, it's an army. I want to retake Salem. When
Agnes.
the fog is gone.
Agnes, again, sensitive.
He does not understand the art of necromancy. Julian, when wraiths are left unattended, they go insane and cause a lot of trouble. They become vicious, murderous even. And they, especially in a town like this where they cannot leave, they cannot even take the Midnight Express or whatever they call it, the ghost train, they cannot venture out and see the world, they cannot connect with their loved ones. They tend to become quite unstable. And someone like me needs to rein them in and make sure they don't become rabid.
I hear what you're saying, Agnes, but you said that after the fog is lifted, you would use them as an army to retake Salem.
Vengeance.
Enslavement would continue on. I'm sorry, Agnes, but I feel I cannot kiss someone who would be an enslaver in this way. I'm sorry.
Too bad. Maybe another favor then.
Why would you be taking Salem? Was it taken from you? Were you persecuted there?
Yes.
So you would be retaking something that people perverted their morals to remove from you.
She nods. She's looking at you with her yellow eyes. Yes, they tortured and killed my sisters and followers for
In the
no
name
reason.
of their god.
The name of something. It's usually power and money and ignorance.
Did they burn them alive?
Some of them, the fortunate
Stone
ones.
them? Torture them?
They did
Are you
horrible
listening?
things, even to innocent women.
Are you listening, Julian? Can you please, for the moment, lay aside your prejudices and understand that Agnes is a good person. She's just doing what's just here.
Darling,
moral
I
person.
recognize in you a nurturing soul, but please do not speak to me as though I have not also been alive for over 275 years. I understand. I forget exactly I just threw out a number. I don't know what the actual number is. It's like I was born not long after the events of Salem. I understand what is happening here, but the world has changed so much, Agnes. Hardly even the descendants of those who persecuted you and your sisters are still there. What I see is a crime taking place here. These souls should not be treated in this way.
Nurtured.
Nurtured,
Tenderly.
looked after.
And you would, well, perhaps, on that front, perhaps I can agree. But if the fog lifts, you should let them go to their natural resting place.
Tell you what,
Take vengeance once.
if you figure out a way to remove the fog, I'll give it some thought.
I suppose that I accept that. That'd be pretty good.
But the favor. There's I love this term, correctional facility out in the lake. It's been abandoned.
Sinners.
Yes. I am very interested in acquiring the warden's fetter that is left out there.
I could acquire that for you.
He held a great sway with the guards and the prisoners, and those who still linger there, he would be able to affect. Is my theory.
I see where you're going with this. Yeah. No, I would absolutely be able to retrieve that for you.
But beware, these spirits have given in to oblivion. These are what I told you about, Julian. Feral.
They haven't been properly taken care of.
Almost like a kindred assail or white.
They suffer.
They have lost themselves.
Mm.
And I believe for safety, yes, we should deal with them.
And for their own spiritual well-being. Yeah. We want to look after these lost souls. Give them a place where they will be taken care of and they are freed of their suffering and madness.
This is
If
what
they pose a danger to the town, we should deal with it. I just simply don't agree with enslaving these spirits. That is all I am saying.
Nobody here is for enslavement. And she's got like look at Agnes like
She's not saying anything.
I get an impression from Agnes here that she's doing things for a very, very pure reason. And the end will always justify the means.
Now, this is what I want. And it's a great favor to me. What do you want in return apart from a sight of death That is nothing to me. I can give more.
If you don't mind, I'm after a certain tome, and I had a little message saying that you may, if you don't know where it is, you might be able to point me in the right direction.
I have many tomes.
I'm completely unsure what the real sort of purpose of it is. And as I try and remember what the name of it is.
The Book of Eternal Darkness in English.
That would be the one. It's quite a catchy sort of name. A close friend recommended this book.
I do not have it, but I do know who does. I do not have the power to give it to you, so I would have to owe you a boon instead. It's in the possession of Devon.
That was another name that was mentioned.
He lives in the church.
Slightly complicates things, but I'm sure it's doable.
No. No, the church is at the top of my list.
Fantastic.
Just real quick. We already asked about the serial killer, right? Or
yeah,
no?
She said that she would point us in the direction of a victim of said serial killer. Yeah.
My bad.
I'm afraid I just want to discuss certain sensitive matters with Agnes. I would like to have a private discussion with her for a few minutes, if that would be okay.
Of course.
Yes.
Julian, let me lead you into the other room.
Thank you, Henry.
He'll take his arm and then slowly whisper, "You can still hear what they're saying, right?"
Then he just kind of gives like a little nod.
And Dahlia
smile forms on his face.
Dahlia will come up to Agnes and just right in her ear, like, my sensitive friend, he's got really good hearing.
No trouble at all. She starts to wave her hands a bit, draw out a circle of blood, and then like a bubble forms around you. It works exactly like Silence of Death, just in an area. So anything
beautiful
you can't hear outside it as well.
Yeah. Could you teach me that?
It's a part of our deal, yes. If you get me the feather, I can teach you.
Excellent. That would be so helpful. Because again, he's just very sensitive about certain things. What you have here is magnificent. And I personally would like to acquire a company of spirits myself.
As long as you don't take mine. We're good.
Oh, of course not. Of course not. Yours are yours. And I wouldn't think of it. But obviously you have studied ways to keep them all here with you. To in fact even draw them here. Perhaps. Yes?
They can be summoned.
And you have certain implements, certain ritual observances that you've laid in place, certain enchantments to assist with the summoning. There's quite a lot of them here, it seems, that your mundane rituals are not sufficient for this kind of collection.
You've seen the numbers.
I have. I am so impressed.
I have quite a collection of feathers.
So acquiring the feathers and then laying down certain.
Sometimes you don't need to acquire the feather. You just need to make the spirit believe that you will kill their feather horribly, threatening them.
Yes, making them understand the reality of the situation. Yes, I understand. Yeah.
They just need to give you a nod. And then they're bound to you until, your commands run out. And if you don't give them any commands, then they're bound to you forever.
Excellent. As I am just new on the scene here in many ways, I am looking for, there's plenty of spirits in Dusktown. I've been through the city. It seems there's just no shortage of them. And so it seems to me that there's plenty of, how shall we put this, loose feral spirits, and I would like to channel them into a collection such as you have. And I was wondering if perhaps if I retrieve this warden's fetter for you, as you have asked, if you could assist me in creating a place like you've got here, or at least a chamber that would assist me in gathering such spirits in from the cold, as it were.
Gladly.
Beautiful.
Julian, just one little thing. If there's anything you need me to do to help you, just ask. But I have to warn you that if anyone asks, then I will help them. So if Dahlia asks me to help, then I will help them do things, even if you don't agree with them. So I apologize in advance.
Well, I've always been one to give more encouragement. I think there's more value when people make the right decision, that are made to make the right decision. If you help her towards, or anyone towards, some end that I may not agree with, well, you are the one who suffers the consequences, not me.
But
All I
that's
can do
fine.
is advise you towards the correct course of action.
I just wanted you to know, to be upfront with you. I'm more than happy to help you, but the same goes for everyone else. Just in case you eventually disagree with what's going to happen.
I appreciate you letting me know, but are your morals so flexible that you would be willing to help out anyone with anything? Help me one day and help her the next? Or them?
I believe in helping out cousins. I wouldn't do something that would be abhorrent to me, but your morals seem to differ from Dahlia's, so I just wanted to make it clear that I wouldn't come to you and say that I have my moral compass and I would not do anything that would offend you or the others, but I will help anyone that asks.
Well, I appreciate that, thank you. Though I'm not too worried about Dahlia, to be honest with you. We seem to be on the same page about a lot of things. So, especially the
pages
the
have two
raids.
sides, is all I'm going to say, because I do dabble into other areas of the Tremere, and I sometimes slip onto the sides of what do they call themselves, Hecata or some such, Cappadocian, I don't know. I dabble in lots of different other areas, and so I can see the lights going and the gleam in her smile.
Oh.
I get the impression that you may not agree.
Oh. Well, thank you. I suppose I'm not able to see such things. I can't read facial expressions, of course. So.
Or frantic gestures when they think you can't see.
Well, thank you for letting me know. I don't know. I still have faith in her, but maybe, is she strange like that? I've heard people are a little bizarre in that way. They mean one thing, but they do something physically that's the opposite. You know what I mean?
I generally find a lot of our cousins can mean different things. I would quite happily tell you up front if I mean to kill you. I consider it would be rude not to.
It's strangely comforting. Thank you.
But yeah, no. It's I get a nice vibe from the coterie, but I can tell it's not an ulterior motives. It's just something that she's very, very keen on. But she does seem to have your interests at heart.
Thank you. I'll keep in mind what you said. She's been very nice so far. And though I did snap at her earlier, I will apologize to her about that. But I do think that she sees the blind man before the man, unfortunately, and I've dealt with that for over hundreds of years. I forget the man. 300 years.
Forgive the forwardness. I just like the way that you're rather direct, and we'll tell someone if it's something that you would disagree with. I do like to play devil's advocate just to see where people's lines are. It helps you understand them.
Yes, I find that it's good to be blunt and just speak the truth when you know the truth must be said.
Mm.
So,
Indeed. What of the others? I haven't spent much time with Dowser. He seems much prettier today. And Ella. How do you
I-
find them?
Ella seems nice. She seems to be a kind person, strong, but a quiet strength. The kind that I respect a great deal. As far as Dowser is concerned, I don't know. He seems difficult to read. I could only smell the sea when he had not fed. I could not. I've been told that he looked as he smelled.
Have you ever had the ability to see?
No, I was, and he will remove his glasses, and you see that his eyes are just completely, like milky white, like a blind person. I've since birth. They didn't even bother to teach me to read, though of course, at the time there was no such thing as Braille.
If you would like, there's a ritual I know of that can assist you to read.
I don't know. I don't even know where to start with that. Would it allow me to see what is written or to understand it?
One of the ones I'm hopefully studying that allows you to your blood can do the reading for you.
Oh. I'd love to try that. I've heard people take great joy from books. I've only had ever people read them to me. To be able to read by myself, if I could spend 100 years doing that. Yes, please. If you make any headway with that, please let me know.
No, definitely. But the offer I made earlier to read the Book of Nod to you, I'd consider it an honor. Not enough of our kind spend enough time with the book.
I would be honored. Thank you. Yes. I don't know too much about what we are, but I suppose to resist what it wants us to be, we must further know what it is. I think you know what I'm referring to.
Of course. Some outcomes are good, some are bad, some are great.
Mm. And I imagine as he said that, you hear like the little, like the beast inside the back of his head. doesn't like you son of a bitch.
It is quiet as well, the grave from down there. Dahlia, from inside, you only hear like you hear them talking, but it's muffled. You have the quiet to talk, and the only thing else, Agnes, she gives you a picture of a locket. It's an old style, what they call Polaroid photos.
Yes.
This is the feather that I'm looking for. Bring that to me, and I will teach you anything I know.
So it's a locket with a picture inside, or
Yes.
or a picture of a locket.
Oh, it's a locket. It's closed on the picture.
Okay.
But there is a picture inside.
And on the picture?
It's his daughter. Well, she's dead now, but you get what I mean.
Okay.
The facility has not been used in quite a while. And expect the spirits to be hostile, so take the necessary precautions. They can hurt us. You've heard of specters, yes?
Yes, of course.
Scary beings, if
Yes,
not controlled.
awful. Yes. Clearly undisciplined and feral. Yes. But the kind of thing that I am, perhaps not as much as yourself, but I am quite knowledgeable about. So I am not going in unprepared. Spirits are something of a specialty for me. Yeah. My particular branch of our family, as it were.
I have 2 questions for you.
Good.
I'm
I'm happy
a
to
little
answer this
curious. How old are you, ish?
Oh, like my friend, I go back quite some ways. I'm quite old. Uh, over well, yeah, over a couple centuries.
May I inquire your bloodline? You do not look like me.
I am not of your particular bloodline. You may recognize me as a member of, perhaps, have you heard of them, the Rosalinis?
Vaguely.
Hmm.
Well, I was worried you were gonna say Giovanni. You didn't. Everything's
Oh,
fine.
no, of course not. Yeah. No, that's not who I am. I certainly don't truck with.
Well, like a Naharaja bastard.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get along fine, darling.
Excellent, Agnes. I look forward to a very profitable future for us both. I have a question for you. A couple questions, actually. I first of all, I did notice that there were objects of particular significance to left for loved ones outside in the graveyard. Do you consider all of those yours, or might I help myself to one or more of those without offending you?
They're not in the graveyard, they're not mine.
Okay, I understand. The second thing is that I was wondering if you might, for example, let me know if there were particular places in the city where such objects and other spiritual energies are richest, as it were.
When you bring me the locket,
Okay, very well.
I will teach you all I know.
This is going to be a beautiful relationship. Yes. I look forward to working with you. You have been such a great help. Yeah.
She shakes her hand again with both hands, her leathery, sandpapery, slimy skin. But yeah.
She wraps her hand around without any hesitation, just pressed to the flesh there. It's just, yeah. And she says, "Oh, I'm sorry. One more question. You have this working professional acquaintanceship with Kaya. Are your goals aligned in most ways, or is it better if we just keep our matters discreet and separate, that I do not mention anything to her about what you're doing here?"
Oh.
Discretion?
She knows what I do.
Oh, okay. And she's okay with it? She's I just want to know what I should say in front of her or not say.
She's paying me to torture the people she sends me.
Excellent.
Well,
so
the payment is the soul, but
yeah. Of course. And so she's completely aligned with you in that way.
Yes.
So that if I were to speak with her about such pursuits, she would perhaps be willing to also lend her assistance.
If it's concerning criminals. Otherwise, she does not care. A
particular breed of spirit. Understood. Yeah. So I would. She's partial to evildoers. I get it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She is a Banu Hakim.
Yes. Of course she is. Yeah. I guessed that right away. Yeah. She seemed to have a very rigid sense of moral justice. Yeah.
It was good to meet you, Miss Gray.
It was good to meet you, Agnes. And I look forward to more profitable encounters in the future for both of us. Thank you for your help today.
As you walk out of the bubble, It dissipates.
Yep.
Julian, you hear her footsteps again. It was, quiet before. And Julian, I need you to do a Dex and Athletics.
Okay.
I need to remind myself at least one possession.
1%. Dex. Athletics. Oh wow. Sorry, I wasn't expecting that.
Well, Henry, you can see. But for like right above, there's about 2 feet to the ceiling of the staircase where you're standing. A stone, weirdly enough, become loose and is about to hit quite a large stone, Julian on the head, but he catches it with one hand just before.
Mm-hmm. And Henry will smile, nod to himself, and of course say nothing.
Sorry about that. This place must be pretty old.
It looks sturdy. Dahlia, you meet them on the staircase.
Darlings, I appreciate you waiting for me. I hope it wasn't too long. I think we have everything we need in order to be on our way.
Excellent.
Let us go. I wonder if Dozer's still alive.
You might want to check on him. Yeah.
Are you going back to Dowser before dawn?
We are going back home before dawn for sure.
Dowser,
Bring blood.
do an intelligence and occult for me first of all.
Oh, lovely. That'll be fun. 1 second. Just got to get my sheet up here.
Definitely don't get a messy crit.
It would be fun, though. Fuck it. The night's about to be over. Let's willpower it. One.
Then I need sense the unseen.
Oh, lovely. So many things. I get 1 bonus because it's a resolve roll, right?
You get 2 extra dice.
2 extra dice, lovely.
And 1 because it's a power. Because
3 extra dice.
Yes. 7 with a messy crit.
I did offer to stay behind. Everyone saw that.
Well,
fine.
Okay. Well, first of all, you don't learn anything from the crypt. It is as Dahlia has said. There are things down there. You don't know any better. They could be gates. They're not on. There's an individual in the sarcophagus. You do not see the guardians she spoke of. But yeah, it seems like from your sentient scene, a nexus of power. It is, you have a good roll, but it's still a messy crit. It's extremely overwhelming to your mind because the magic carries out through the walls, and there's almost like a beacon of a mix of blood sorcery and four different types, so five different energies coming from the sarcophagus, all supernatural in nature. All the walls are magical, the floor is magical, the ceiling is magical, and it's definitely tied to the guardian. You take 1 aggravated willpower damage because this is extremely straining to your mind, and you feel like you're just being hit with an icicle in your forehead. What else can I tell you about the place? The rituals are magic. The being inside the sarcophagus, definitely celestial energy, which is one of the 5. There's blood sorcery in there. There's oblivion in there. And others you do not recognize. There are lines going from the sarcophagus to each of the gates, so you assume that the being in there is also fuel for the gates. You do not know how to open them, though. I think that is the information I can give you, unless you have a specific question that I might be able to answer, but it needs to be from your side and not from your knowledge. But you do the entire building.
Is there any other supernatural defenses on the house at all, outside of the downstairs crypt basement?
You have never seen anything warded so well in your entire existence. You do not know how anyone would be able to see in or out of this place. Out of character, mechanically, it's a warded 10 area. It's insanely. Like, nobody would ever be able to spy on you in here.
Which is crazy because I don't have a single word on my sheet.
Yeah. But it's definitely fueled by, well, the Guardian, you think. Not the Celestial. The Guardian is the ward, and he's tied to the building, which makes sense why it's in the rules. He cannot leave the place.
In the architecture itself of the house, as I walk, because none of us have really gone and explored the house itself, we've just kind of entered and left and gone to the basement. Is there anything at all that will sign to, like, anything that would tell me, like, when it was built?
Later in the house, but the material is, well, stone. The rest of the house isn't. Not all of it, at least. But it seems like you have picked a house and hollowed out a basement. It was built beneath it.
Okay.
And you've kind of, what's it called? I forget the word. This cement you put in between the bricks.
The mortar.
The mortar. It seems like there is, well, blood sorcery in the mortar. So every single little brick is enchanted. It must have taken you quite a while. If this was done by you alone.
This is all great information.
The rest of you get back. Do you intend to bring Dowser some, well, before bed dinner or snack, whatever you want to call it?
We could get Jack.
We could get Jack.
Jack seemed like a pretty
No,
lovely person.
no, he wasn't.
What do you mean?
If you could see deep inside him, no, he was a terrible, terrible person.
Oh,
He'd done things.
I would like to insight check that, please.
Yeah.
Getting like a general vibe of the situation.
Do wits inside and all your dice, and Henry, if you want to. You're not lying, so
Henry's not going to resist in any way, shape, or form.
and
He's
the other
being
time-
transparent.
He gets it. So Julian knows like what he's referring to, like what's going to happen. He would trust Henry at face value. Henry has earned his trust.
Henry
Just
genuinely believes that this person was a horrible human being.
All right, I won't even roll then. So then like
Oh, you don't need to. Henry's not resisting the roll.
so oh. What has he done?
Original sin. He had a choice. He made his choice. I think he should be the first one to get into the cage.
Henry, we know how sensitive Julian is, and you just gotta be gentle with him. I agree with you on principle, but
I would genuinely be concerned about what he's going to be doing with the rest of the population.
It is a concern of mine as well.
I told you before, Julian. I will be very upfront. He was a monster.
All right, well. As I said, 1990s, Julian believed you. 2020s, Julian. I suppose I'll have to trust you. All right. But there is one thing I like to do with Jack before we do this.
Mm-hmm. Find out if he has children as well, in case the seed is spread.
I don't believe that's how evil works.
The sins of the
afraid.
father.
You remind me. In this moment, Henry. You remind me of my father. You see the image in Julian's mind of like this stern pilgrim with like a buckle on his hat, like with like a heavy Bible hitting him in the face with it.
It is not automatically assumed that it will pass, but it's worth testing them. You don't find a rabid animal and then not check the rest of its blood just in case.
I don't believe I agree with you on that.
Oh no,
But
test. I hope they are clean. But could you live with yourself knowing that something had happened that you could have prevented? For a simple test, a check that would harm no one?
Henry, I think perhaps this is a lot for one night, and we are all growing very weary. But perhaps a follow up. We want to make sure that we do our due diligence, as it were, for these sorts of matters. Yeah.
Let's go and find Jack.
You can call him.
Does anyone have a phone?
Henry does. Henry's going to call Jack.
Because, yeah.
It's Jack. What's up?
Lots of money. Here's the address.
Oh, you guys. Yeah, sure. Give me 20.
There'll be more money if you can be quicker.
I'll try. 12 minutes pass. Jack arrives.
Let's, Dahlia, while they're waiting, Dahlia kind of sidles up next to Henry and goes, let's wait on the cage thing before...
We could just kill him, all the rest. I'm happy with that as long as he...
Well, no. See, here's the thing. If Jack is well connected around town, as he, gets around as he does, could be missed, and then that could involve police and everything. Let's just make sure it's clean. Is what I'm saying.
No. As I said, I will make sure we clean the rest of his seed. So there will be no problems with any of that.
Right. But other people tend to get connected with this sort of stuff. We need to make sure that this looks that the whole departure, as it were, that the whole removal is clean.
Storyteller, can I hear this? Can I hear this conversation?
Henry's making no attempt to lower his voice or anything along these lines. He's totally transparent.
Julian, we're gonna do to Jack what I thought you were gonna do. You want to see his death?
Yeah, I want to see how he dies.
To the house.
I'm gonna pray. I'm gonna be like, pardon me, may I pray for you real quickly? It'll only take a moment, and I'll rouse. I'm a little nervous. This is like the
Do you
first
have to
time I'm
roll?
doing this. I do.
It's a success.
Ooh, hell yeah. So I do have the rules pulled up for this, because I was expecting this might happen. Cost 1 rouse check, resolve in oblivion. The vampire must be able to see or hear the target when they use the power after rolling resolve plus oblivion, and a difficulty of 3 or more at the discretion of the ST.
Yes. Do the roll.
And then I get a +1 to this, right, because of blood potency?
Yes. And a +2 if it's a resolve thing.
Oh, yes. So 3 plus 3 total.
You're welcome.
4 is enough. Jack is...
Just real quick, because it's getting towards the end of the night. I would like to willpower this, because the margin of successes reveals more like little details about what's going on. Is that if that's all right, or
Sure.
it's up to you if that's enough?
I'm going to tell you that if it's got anything to do with Henry, it's going to be by his own hands.
So 6 total. So yeah.
You get a
Elaborate.
very clear vision. I'm not sure how else, like, what more information it can give you. Jack is supposed to die in 5 years in a drug deal gone bad. He is shot in the head by a dealer that he apparently will or already owes money.
What a horrible fate.
Wonderful person.
Satan. It's a little dolly on my shoulder.
And Henry on the other one.
Right, exactly. They're just
Dude,
two
you should
devils.
totally fucking kill this dude, bro.
But
He's like-
he's buying drugs. He's not killing anyone or doing anything horrible. But that is how he's supposed to die.
This has got a whole Minority Report.
That is
thing for it.
what fate has woven into her web.
And you see, it kind of like looks up at Jack. All right. Amen. He just looks at him. Henry would like to see you inside. I'll guide you in.
Do you tell him to drive back to your thing, and then you do that outside?
Just checking on the way there, Henry would have been asking questions about children, relatives.
You're gonna have to do a charisma and persuasion minus all your things if you want information about it.
No. I'm
me about
very much
people you
leaning
want.
into intimidation here.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, if it's intimidation, then you're good.
I've seen all those penalties suddenly become into a positive, so
Yeah,
I'd just like to know exactly.
It's just a normal roll. I don't believe you have donned or anything that helps you.
Are you a family man?
I think Daunt's probably the next thing he's going to buy.
Call me now.
Eyes of Oblivion in a Batman voice. Where are the other drugs going?
That's right. Who are you working with?
You just scream and shout at them until they sort of realise that you haven't asked them any questions.
All right, almost. You're doing the intimidation roll.
I can go for intimidation. I don't know what bonuses you'll throw. Obvious predator. Beacon of profanity, unholy will.
Just a flat roll.
Yeah,
You are terrifying, but
that's fine. Not manipulating. What role would I make? Or what step?
any of the socials. So it depends on how you do it. If you want to be subtle, it's composure. If it's more insidious, then it's manipulation, and if it's direct threats, then it's
It's going to be this is going to happen.
Yeah.
You are going to answer this. Feel free to take your time. Do-do-do-do.
Just real quick, storyteller. What did Jack look like at the drug deal?
Did
Did he look like?
bit older, more beard. What are you inquiring about?
Did he look like he was in like the throes of like addiction or something, or?
Yeah, it's not heroin we're talking about, or anything like
Okay.
that. It's more like I don't want to say normal drugs, but it'll still fuck you up. But he does not look like he's dying. It would have taken like
That was
20
fine.
years or something more.
Okay.
But a gunshot is more, well, instant.
6.
6. He does not have children. He has an old mother and a girlfriend. And that's about his only relations apart from the boys, as he calls them.
The boys.
Watching football and smoking weed and partying. He's like late 20s, so he's still in the.
Okay. Where does the mother live?
He gives you an address.
Perfect.
And begs you not to hurt her. She's a good woman, and she does not know about his habits or anything like that.
He's not going to do anything to her. He's just he's a little
She
moody
won't
tonight.
suffer.
Look, man, I'm just like I'm just a driver, man. If you're like not pleased with my thing, just give me 1 star and let me go.
Henry, would you kindly stop scaring our driver?
I'm not scaring anyone.
Well, you are.
It's-
He's a nice boy. All right. He may have done some bad things, but he's a nice boy.
I want to know what's your plan to get him in the house, if that's the plan. Is Julian gonna be the one convincing him, or is Henry just on the continuing the threatening behavior?
Henry.
I was gonna say that Julian did the thing, saw how the guy was gonna die, and then he just left. Like he just left the situation. Was my idea.
Yeah.
So he's like, either he went back inside into the sanctum or whatever, and he's just whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. Like if Jack's choices have led him to a violent end, it's just the way it's gonna be.
Julian just washes his hands up.
It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's like, if the outcome had been different, maybe he would have spoken up and said something. But let's just say, I don't know. I'll get to it later. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, because once we're there and parked up, Henry's just going to reach over, activate prowess, and then break things, and then take him in.
Yeah. Do the Rouse.
Dolly is going to intercede, and just say, she's trying to convince Henry that this doesn't need to happen tonight. Like, we can go ahead and take care of Dowser. And she's saying this in coded language. Like, we can take care of our friends' late night snacking needs and things like that. But we just need to make sure that this is.
It's happening tonight.
The timing is just too immediate, Henry. It's too immediate. Can it not wait until tomorrow? He is very useful.
Snap.
When you say breaking things, do you mean his phone or
Start with his shoulder.
Oh God!
He screams. She would.
And now he's going to resist less when being brought into the house.
Yeah, he, when you have prowess on, he's not going to be doing a lot of resisting.
Dolly is just going to race up the stairs, just like wash her hands of this business, and catch up to Julian. Like, I tried to convince him. I tried. He's just lost it.
Horrible.
He's completely lost it. I'm not dealing with it anymore.
I know you're not good with technology, Dahlia, but you are good with certain things. You just want to leave the car out there on with the phone.
No, she's going to no, obviously. Yeah. Take the keys out, take the phone.
Henry's got every intention to clear up his mess, but he's just going to make sure that Jack's in the cage first.
That's fair enough.
Take it apart.
Also, in your middle of your investigation, I think you're kind of relaxing your mind after the strain that you've been put through, and your body is not too hot either after your water experiment. But the Guardian appears and says, they're home. And then you hear the double doors open, and you hear a man screaming, "Ah, let me go!"
Please empty a cage. It seems we have a new inhabitant.
Henry, as you walk down, one of the cage door opens by itself.
You've only got yourself to blame. In he goes, cage shut. let's go and sell the car on somewhere less pleasant.
Tosses the keys at him, just like, here you go.
Should we keep the
After visiting the mother.
I'll save that scene for another time.
Oh my god.
All right.
But first I need to know, what sort of role do you think Henry would you get rid of the...
Probably leave the vehicle at the mother's.
You have drive, right?
No.
All right. You'll figure it out.
The last vehicle had a hand crank.
Yeah. Do an intelligence roll. It's the flat thing. Figure out how this works. It's a pedal, it's a steering wheel. You can at least get it to drive. You've been watching him as he went along. It doesn't seem that hard.
I'm not too fussed. If it's got a few prangs and all the rest of it, it makes more sense when they find it at the mother's.
Yeah.
But there will be no remains from the mother because he will consume and destroy the corpse.
That will give you a stain, but I get where you're going with it.
Yeah.
You go to 0 if you want to.
Hmm?
Then a single rough check after to see if you
Yeah.
dissipate the body. The rest of you, while Henry is taking care of shit, and we're about to close the session. I want to ask, is the plan to go to sleep now and start a new day, or are you going to continue the night? Or
I feel like we don't have much night to continue with, so...
No, you have 3 or 4 hours, but...
Oh, wow. I thought we only had a few... yeah, okay.
But if you want willpower back and all that. And you haven't slept yet.
Yeah, are we done? Are we are we ready to go? Are we ready to go to bed after this very long night? Yeah.
Darcy, do you want to tell people what you found when?
Yes.
It's not prevalent information at the moment. However, if possible, I would like to heal a little bit before we go to sleep.
Your ag?
One of them would be nice.
Do 3 rouse checks.
Oof.
Okay, Jack's here to help.
Yeah, that's why I wanted food. Oh, yay.
Nom, nom, nom.
That's a
No,
hunger
no.
gain. That's a hunger gain.
Hey.
No.
It's
Jack.
prune time.
Yes, I was about to say Dowser is like full on fish person. Like he's got tentacles sprouting out of his face now.
That gets you so what? Hunger 4?
Yeah.
Do a hunger frenzy difficulty 3.
Dear God.
No.
Hi, Jack.
Bye, Jack.
I'll never let go, Jack. Difficulty 4.
Oh, sorry, 3.
Oh, 3.
5.
Oh, wait, wrong. No, do I have any modifiers to this now?
We'll add it if you have.
I don't think I do.
Oh my lord. Ooh.
What? 2 dice.
So much for Jack being in the cage for very long.
Good news, you go to 0. Bad news, you get a stain. Unless, what is your conviction? No, I know what your conviction is. You get a stain, yes.
What do you mean?
This is killing an innocent. If you had something like maybe Henry, then you could get away with it, but...
That's the Chronicle tenant. Don't kill innocent.
Yeah.
It's not
He
my
wouldn't
conviction.
be in the cage if he was innocent.
Jack was a cab driver who smoked a little bit of weed. A little
In my
bit.
head, I'm just imagining these tentacles coming around, like wrapping around Jack's face, and just like.
Okay, maybe not a little bit of weed. He did an excessive amount of drugs, hence the gluttony. But
Julian is just upstairs with the pillows around his ears.
I feel like the visual is more Dowser sort of walks down to the cage and then it sort of swings open by itself, and this poor man who has
I'm
gotten
saved.
slightly broken. And then as Dowser goes for the throw, like as he drinks the blood, the man just starts coughing up water. As like drowning him while I'm emptying out his blood.
Yes. That sounds right. Jack was short-lived. Now we have another skeleton or perhaps zombie.
Jack couldn't stay on the fucking door, I guess.
Exsanguinated, like watery corpse now.
That'd be a lesson.
I forgot to ask Henry, how stealthy were you trying to be in all your things?
Well, Henry is incredibly stealthy.
So,
Actually, no, he is. I forgot.
You're down the street. Oh, hey, no.
do a dex stealth or composure stealth?
Oh man.
I just want to see how many people have noticed what you've done. 2's fine. No mortal attention.
No mortal attention.
Hey, kitty.
What does that mean?
But you want a willpower. You are going to bed, so. There's a chance for a crit.
Ooh.
The beast likes a crit.
4.
I'll make a note. And I think that is where we end the session. A bit of murder, a bit of mayhem. And
It
congratulations.
just went real
guys.
dark. Like the whole episode was dark, but it just went real dark at the end.
I feel like should we all get a stain for that, or how does it like,
Dahlia tried to keep him from doing it. At least she really did.
Dahlia was very much, ooh, look at this great army.
I mean, she
I
liked
want
the
my own
idea,
great
but she was
army.
like, yeah.
Can we torture them together?
Did it
Were we-
break any of your convictions? You didn't do the killing, and you didn't
Right.
do the torture. So if it didn't break your conviction, you're not gonna get a stain.
would this be considered like so his is to alleviate suffering? That's Julian's.
I mean, I'm no longer suffering.
Here's the thing. I'm trying to grapple with like there are realities of vampires. Julian probably recognizes he's a weird vampire guy, and that's the way that he deals with things. And that's why he checked to see what was going to happen to Jack. He's going to just get shot in 5 years. So it's like if fate is going to kill him anyway, and very very soon, especially since like the vampire thing, it's like it would help the rest of his coterie. But what he went through, he probably didn't know the details, so maybe he didn't know that it would that Henry was gonna break every bone in his body and then throw him in a cage. So I don't know. I leave it up to you,
Henry didn't
storyteller.
break every bone in his body.
Just most of them.
I'll say you don't get a stain. You didn't do it yourself, and as you say, sometimes you must turn a blind eye, and you have learned that in 300 years.
Okay. All right.
Otherwise,
Henry felt that he had tacit approval from Julian.
and let's just, before we forget, regain your willpower. Go to
Oh,
Oh
bed.
yeah.
Remember to heal 1 egg, Bowser.
Am I down to 0 hunger?
Yes, after eating Jack, you are.
I'm just checking before I regain
I-
willpower. Shall I just see how remorseful I am?
Yes, do remorseful if you want to.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You have a stain.
Hey!
Oh, look, you both hold on to your humanity. You actually feel bad.
Have 3.
Or maybe
like,
I
oh,
should.
that was not a thing. Maybe I did go too far.
Damn, that was pretty fucked up, I gotta say. It's wiping the blood from it. That was
Right.
That was pretty bad.
Is Henry feeling bad about Jack or Jack's mother?
Probably the mother.
Yes. No, actually, he's probably feeling bad about Jack because it's probably her fault that he was he sort of turned out that way.
Oh god.
We've made our ST say, "Oh God."
Wow.
Who are these monsters I'm working with?